What's going on, people? Welcome to the match preview as we look ahead to the game against City on the weekend. As always, if you do enjoy this, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe and let us know your thoughts ahead of the game in the comment section down below. And by the way, you are not seeing a ghost. It is Patrick. Patrick, how you doing?
I'm back.
I saw you live in the flesh. We've done, a few content after the game, post-match shows. It was a bit depressing, especially the Bournemouth one. Liverpool one frustrating, but how you been, man? How did you enjoy the UK coming back to your stomping ground?
I loved it. Like I said in the Liverpool post match. Listen, Thornton Heath is my home. I was born and raised there. So going home, see my family, see my friends. I include you, obviously, Rich from Eagle Eye Football, AJ. I met Sam Hesketh for the first time. I saw Chris Clark for the first time. I hung out with Nick and his son at the West Ham game. No, man, I had a great time. I saw tons of nieces and nephews and cousins. So it was great to be home. And again, you know what? It's funny. You see people on this on stream. I don't get to. You're a real nice guy, D. I give you credit, man. I wasn't sure about you over this thing because you met me so many times. But in person, that little nano we had, it was a good time sitting down with you and Rich, man. So I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come, hang out with me and stuff like that. But no, I had a great time. Man. Great time.
Anytime. As for those that don't know, Patrick came over to see Palace play, and you didn't really mention your other friend, Roy Hodgson. You saw him live in the flesh as well in his football. What do you make of it?
Yeah, we're getting to that. Listen, man, everyone knows why that I've never been a Hodgson fan. Again, I want to show respect to him for keeping us up, but honestly, I said it on the fan cams or on the post match shows. Time for him to go. And we're going to talk about the matches, this match and the matches coming up. Man, let me tell you something. The pressure is on. If it was on Vieira for that god awful 15 or so 3-month stretch, it's on this man now. And you know what? I just don't see him surviving. But again, I'm not Steve Parish. I'm not John Textor. I'm not Harris or Blitzer. I'm not the ownership. But if I was in charge and he doesn't get anything out of the next 3 games, he has to go.
Look, let's talk about the importance of this game against City, because I'll be honest, like we always hear the comments of we're facing Liverpool or City. There's no much real expectation towards it. But at what point, Patrick, do you have to put importance on these games? Because I mean, we didn't beat the likes of Luton, Everton, Bournemouth, and teams around us. We didn't beat them. So how should this work out? I mean, we didn't beat those teams, and he's still here. If we don't beat these teams, the better opposition, then the excuse is that we face better opposition. Do you think that this game, including the City game, and the next, we got Brighton and we got Chelsea, which when we look at Brighton game, of course, everyone knows how significant that is, and Chelsea's another team that's struggling. Do you think these next 3 games are key for Roy, or do you think that he will stay at the job regardless, go past the new year?
I think they're massive. Look at the table. We are currently 15th. We've won 4. We've drawn 4. We've lost 8 matches. We're on 16 points. Forest in 16th, only 2 points behind us. Everton, who got a 10-point deduction, are only 3 points behind us. And then you've got the bottom 3 in Luton, Burnley, Sheffield United. Listen, if you Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United pick up any kind of form, we could definitely be in the relegation zone come the end of that 3rd match of Chelsea game. So you tell me, if we're in the relegation zone, he's not going to be fired. That's madness. I couldn't imagine it sitting there where we're in the bottom 3 and he doesn't get sacked.
What if we're not? What would it require for him to keep his job, do you reckon? Because you know what's interesting, Pardew on TalkSport, he was speaking about the Palace job and what he thinks of Palace expectations, and he actually mentioned, he said that it's not just Steve Parish, there's other owners at the club that want to make sure that they are a Premier League club, and I think that was very interesting. But he also didn't comment on Roy Hodgson whether it was a right appointment or not. He basically said, I don't want to comment on that, which I don't think he thinks that it was. But when you look at the overall picture, he said himself, he said that I got sacked in a similar moment like this. I had some difficult game coming up, and not only him, Vieira as well. And he said that owners told managers that they need to get points in these type of games, otherwise they'll lose their job, especially when they're under pressure. Now, when you look at Palace, do you think he is under pressure due to how we played against Liverpool? If there's another positive performance against City and we still lose, does that buy him time? It's like results versus performance right now. Performance against Liverpool was good, but we didn't get a result. If we have something similar against City, does that just buy him more time? Is it more than the 3 games?
See, I don't think the City game matters as far as whether he goes or not. But I can guarantee, because it happened last year with Vieira. When Vieira lost that Brighton match, the pressure was all over Vieira, all over him, the rivalry. So I think if he doesn't forget City, I think if the Brighton game comes and we lose, he's either get talked to before that match or after, and then that Chelsea game becomes massive. He cannot get no points, is what I'm saying, in the next 3. He's got to get at least a point. I want minimum 3, but I can't see us beating City, Brighton, or Chelsea. Maybe Chelsea, but Chelsea are mudded, which means they always beat us. So even if they're mudded, they're still going to beat us. You know what I mean? So again,
not much for Chelsea
exactly.
As well.
So that's why I feel on that, D. So
yeah. I let us know in the comment section as well. Do you think he's under pressure? I know it's difficult games that we've got coming up, but you have to win something. I mean, we didn't beat the easier opponents as well, so exactly. It's like I don't like this excuse of difficult games, because otherwise the excuse will never run out. Oh, you got easy games, he gets away with it. Difficult games, he gets away with it. So at what point do you seriously consider it?
See, let me just say, Ken, so I want to go back to that. That's a very good point, right? So historically, Hodgson does not beat the top 6. He can pull out a result every once in a while, obviously, like Man United. By the way, not really a top 6 side anymore, but whatever. But normally, he doesn't beat top 6 sides. He feasts on the bottom 11, the bottom 10 sides, right? And like you just said, we just lost to Luton, Everton, and Bournemouth. So the fact that he's not beating teams he normally beats means that the pressure is on him big time. So I cannot see him surviving this if he doesn't get nothing out of the next 3 matches. It's going to be too much for him to get out. And then you talk the next 3. Then after that, you got Brentford, Arsenal. That's 5. Nah, man. I'm telling you, the pressure is on the next 3 for sure for me. Anyway.
Yeah. I do think so as well. I think the Brighton game especially. But let's talk about this game in a bit more, detail. Of course, Remy Matthews is in goal more than likely. We'll mention him. Ayew shouldn't be available as well because of the red card. Lerma, we're not too sure about. Edward, injuries not helping him as well, though, Patrick, right?
Yeah, you know what? But that's funny you say that. Of course, it's not helping him. But go back historically, we've had more injuries on the Hodgson than any other manager. So you could say, is there a cause and effect there? I'm not saying there is, but I know for a fact that, because I've looked at the data, we've had more injuries under Hodgson than under any other previous manager. So what's going on? But of course, you can blame the injuries, but it's part of the game. I hate to say it's part of the game. So he has to deal with it. So this is when I talk about squad rotation, using the kids. Hasn't used França at all, barely used Hamada. And I was reading this other day about Hamada and how he would be a great as a number 8 more centrally, how he played well in the Bundesliga, but for another day. So listen, you don't use your bench and you just use the same players over and over again, and you put down a few kids that do play. This is what you get, man. So I like to say, yeah, injuries are a problem, but I'm sorry, I can't give him that. I can't give him that pass because of how he uses the squad. Very limited use of the squad for me.
Let's start with the goalie, because who do you think should start in goal? Should it be Remy Matthews or Joe Whitworth? I honestly, like, Remy Matthews came on. Of course, I don't want to downplay him because he's our first choice goalie, because our second choice goalie, or arguably was going to be our first choice goalie at some point, is still out injured. And it's between Matthews and Joe Whitworth. Look, I'll be honest, I'm not going to even lie. I think it will be Remy Matthews. But do you think there is a shout for Joe Whitworth to start?
I think under another manager, there would be a shout, but not under Hodgson. He's going to go with a more experienced player. That's Remy Matthews. Now, age-wise, because actually, Matthews only played 1 Premier League match. That was the last game. Whitworth played 2. Arsenal and Brighton last season.
He's actually more experienced. So Remy Matthews is probably like 10 years younger than him.
Exactly. So it's mad. But listen, I see Remy Matthews twice in the flesh. Once at Chicago, and then once on, was it Saturday now? What day would he play? Yeah, Saturday against Liverpool.
Saturday, yeah.
He don't look very good. He don't look very good. I'm sorry. I'd rather Whitworth play, but I know for a fact under Hodgson, there is no chance he plays a 19-year-old kid over a 29-year-old veteran, despite the fact that I think Whitworth's better than him. So
for me, Jordan Ayew, Lerma, I'm looking at them 2 plays, like especially like Jordan Ayew. Of course, he's 100% out because of that dumb second yellow card from the referee. And then Lerma, we're not even too sure about as well. But if Lerma's out injured, then I guess Gyro comes in, Elise comes in for Ayew because he didn't start against Liverpool. If Edward's out, JP comes in. This squad is just, it's not good. That's the thing. There's no one right answer. Like, this squad is not good enough. Some of these players I'm talking about, at least for Ayew, that's an upgrade. But Gyro, Lerma's been one of our best players so far this year. I've really rated him. I really rated what he's trying to do. but like JB for Edward. I mean, these are players for players' sake. And then if one of these replacements gets injured, there's basically no one left. There's no one left. So it's a combination of things. It's not just Roy, is it?
It's never just one thing. I think he's the main culprit. It's just not just him. Again, we could do this all day. We've done this. I haven't been on the show for ages, but we talked about before he wasn't backed. I get that part, and he should have been back more. But again, you did bring Francer in, and
he's not playing.
He doesn't use him. Right, but Hamada was brought in January, doesn't play. He brought in Holding and Henderson, which would have been great, except they're both injured. That's not on Roy, or is it? I don't know. I mean, Henderson definitely isn't on him because he got injured in the match. Holding got injured in training, so something happened. I don't know. Interesting though, D, yesterday there was an under 21 match, and both Ola Adabomi and Ozo were not in the squad. They lost 4-0 to
well.
Right, so they're obviously with the first team. I would love to see those guys play against City. We're getting, I'm talking about not starting, but like in and around the squad again, listen, man, City's going to destroy us, bro. I don't think if we had our full squad with Eze and the full squad, I don't think we could beat them because we didn't beat them last year away. So the chance to beat them again are slim. So I'm looking more at the games going forward. We can get Lerma, possibly Eze, Edward, hopefully back for Brighton. That's the one I'm looking at. I'm not looking at, listen, I don't believe in free hits, but this is not free hit. This is a just play the game and be done kind of game for me.
You know what's interesting? Roy said the same thing after the Liverpool game. He said that it's near enough impossible. He said,
wait. Impossible. Roy and I agreed? Then I disagree then. I changed my mind. I'm just joking. No, he's right.
You see the game with a similar vision.
He's right.
All this time.
In this case, I agree 100%. He's right. He's right. He really is.
It is, it is going to be difficult, but for me, I'm tired of looking down already. I mean, we was together, Brentford Feud, and I was like,
please tell what he did. Please tell what he did. Okay, wait. So
it's sad, but we reached this point already.
So we went to Nando's on Sunday, and D on his phone is looking at Luton and Everton scores. I'm like, bro, I can't do that, man. I'm not looking down at other teams' scores, but I give you credit, man. You did it.
We have to.
No, you have to. I don't have to. I'm not doing it.
But we have to. This is what's come down to.
Sad. I know it's sad.
This is what's come down to. Right. And I'm looking at who's Luton or Sheffield United Burnley playing, and hopefully they don't pick up results. It's scary and it's sad.
Who are they playing? I'm not even looking. Who are they playing? I didn't look. Who are they playing? I have no idea.
I don't even know. I don't know. I can get it up.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because I'm not. I refuse to do
Luton's
that.
Got Bournemouth.
Wow.
Chelsea's got Sheffield United, and Burnley's got Everton.
Win.
So they could all end up losing. They could, but
or they could all win.
Exactly. They could all easily win as well. It's a bit risky.
Man.
Let's look at the league table. Because of course, going into the season, we spoke about pushing into the top 10. Right now, we sit 15th. 16 games played with 16 points. Interesting that we've only scored 15 in 16 games, conceded 23. So not conceded that many goals. But right now, if we were to win, I mean, we could go up to 11th if we were to do a miracle, which happened against City, but that's not going to happen because of goal difference. But we could be joint 11th. And if we were to lose, we could go down to 17th. It is getting tighter by the week, Patrick. And that is exactly the reason why I'm looking down.
No, mate. You said if we lose. We're going to lose. We just have to hope that Forest and Everton don't win. Because we're not going to win. That's mad. We could drop to 17th. Oh, my days. He'll be out. He could be done after this weekend. If they see 17th.
Nah, but surely not. You said Brighton, no?
I did say that, but I didn't realize we could drop to 17th, though. I'm not joking. We'd be one spot off the relegation zone. Listen, you guys talk about Vieira last year. Vieira was never, ever, ever this close to relegation zone. What we were? 12 FC last day, right? 12. Every game we come on the show. 12. Now we can talk about 17th. You know what? I take it back, man. I thought Brighton, but if it's 17th after this weekend, I'm sorry, bro. We might have to go this weekend. Seriously, that's
interesting. That's why it's getting scary. That's why I'm looking at the results. But then again, I need an Everton win, though. That's interesting. Like, I need Everton to win because Everton are facing Burnley.
You need them to win. Exactly. You said this now?
I would rather be 17th than Burnley pick up points. That's where it's reached. You get it.
You're not wrong, but that logic, man, is killing me. This is
We've been in Premier for 10 years,
bro. This is Pulis logic. This is Allardyce logic. This is Pardew logic. We're supposed to be past this, bro. You know what I mean? We're back to results looking at the bottom three, and this is sad times, man.
It's sad. It's sad because at the start of the season, of course, it's still a long season, but we're reaching halfway point of the season, and we're talking about relegation and staying up rather than top 10. Dee Patrick said top 10. Roy Hodgson said top 10. At what point will these owners, well, not manager, because I think the manager is going to leave anyways at the end of the season. At what point do these people who run the club are going to be held accountable? Because I feel like there's a tide turning. There's a lot of people now getting onto the ownership and, you know, saying that we should be doing better. But for you, Patrick, like, we spoke about players and we spoke about, you know, league positions.
Right.
At what point do the owners get questioned seriously? Because more and more people jumping on it, but like, if we're 17th come game week 17, yes, Roy is the easy one, and me personally, I would like him to be gone. But it's the same old thing, really. It is. Apart from one good year under Vieira, nothing has really changed for us in the last 10 years.
I agree. I mean, again, like I said, the only thing I'll say is that obviously I understand this is the best 10 years we've ever had. Historically, when Palace have got promoted from the Championship or the second division to the top division, for the most part, to the Premier League, we've always gone right back down. We've been the typical yo-yo club, like like Norwich City, up, down, up, down, up, down. You know what I mean? So I'll give the ownership credit for that. But like you said, we are going to next level comment is biting them. It's biting them big time, and we're not going to the next level. We are back to being what we were. You just said it 6 years ago, 5 years ago when we first came up. It's not acceptable. When do they get pressure? I'm going to say this: when Hodgson leaves, when they have to look for another manager, and when January 1st hits and the window opens, when we're going to have to get at least 3-4 new players. That's when the pressure has to be on. If it doesn't, then they'll never be under pressure. Do you know what I mean, mate? That has to be.
We didn't fulfill our summer targets to the level that we should have as well. And that's why we're in this position. That's why we're talking about JP still coming in for Edward, etc. Like, we didn't bring in enough. Well, to be fair, there's both sides of it. We did bring in France, and Roy is not deciding to play him. But then again, there are positions like right back, like maybe another backup left back that hasn't been solved. You get it?
And there's a good point about França. Raksaki. At least it was out he got injured during the summertime. Perfect replacement for him was Raksaki, and he never played him, and then he got injured. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you can't complain.
It's confusing. It is confusing. Let's quickly mention City. So, of course, it's never going to be an easy game against City, but they beat Luton narrowly away from home. They've had a few dodgy results. And in terms of don't you think there's any chance at all? Any chance? Or is it a case of our injuries stopping as well? Because they're still Man City, end of the day, but they haven't been at the levels that they've shown. And normally at this point in the season, sooner rather than later, they'll click. But they're still in that middle ground where they don't have De Bruyne. They've got Rodri back, of course, but they're still trying to figure stuff out. For you, do you think the best approach for City would be to sit back and try to, hit them on a counter? No?
Oh, for us, I thought you said for City. You mean against City?
No. I mean, to be fair, for City, regardless of what happens, they can get a result. But if they were to sit back, let's say that we don't know what to do in possession, so it probably still will help them. Not that they're going to sit back against Palace at home. Yeah. But just talk to me about Man City, Patrick. I mean, they have been decent this year, of course. Well, good this season, but not at the levels that we've seen them. They're trouble winners as well, to be fair.
I mean, this is my hope, right? One, Haaland's out, great. De Bruyne is out, great. Okay, that's one positive. Two, they are Man City, and Man City, last year under Vieira, we were up 2-0 at halftime, lost 4-2 because that was when Haaland came to the fore, and then obviously at home, the Elise penalty, we only lost 1-0. So there is hope in that respect, but let's be totally honest. Yes, we're going to sit back. That's going to suit Pep to the hilt. Eventually, they'll break us down. They broke down Luton. Yeah, I know they had a couple of weird results lately, but just like Luton, if we take the lead,
it's something that weird, Well, to be fair, they haven't had that many losses, but they lost to Villa recently. That was 1-0.
Good team.
They drew 3-0 against Tottenham, which is not that weird considering how Tottenham are.
To me.
They drew 1-0 against Liverpool. Drew 4-4 against Chelsea. They've had a lot of draws, but it's not they beat Bournemouth 6-1. They beat Man United 3-0. Before the Aston Villa game, the other loss this season has come from Arsenal, which was 1-0 on the 8th of October. So not like they're losing games. They picked up a
Right.
few draws. But yeah, it's always going to be a difficult task. But for me, tactically, it's a case of the fullbacks having another decent afternoon, because I thought they've done very well against Liverpool. And we need to try and stop, the City creative plays as well out wide, because that's our main weakness. And I know they'll be trying to hit us there. But if I'm flying, he was actually solid against Salah. So if he continues his form, and
he was very good.
Go war against either Grealish or Doku, which is not going to be easy. But that's what I'm saying. It's near enough impossible. It is. It requires a miracle to happen.
I will say that, of course, nothing's impossible, because you can have this quote unquote Roy masterclass. If he pulls this game out, man, I'll tell you, I don't even know what to say. I mean, beating Man United away is one thing, but beating Man City away with that squad and that manager, because you gotta give that manager on the other side a lot of credit, Pep. We beat them before, Hodgson beat them with the Townsend goal, whatever. But
yeah, I remember Vieira beat them as well. I was there.
Exactly. It's rare, but it can happen. I just don't see it, man. Injuries. Just the way the club is going right now, and our form of late, it just nothing feels right about it. But again, it's football. You never know. I don't think we'll win, but again, quote unquote, because I'm sure people in the comments saying, "Well, you never know it's football." I'll say it first. You never know it's football. So there's that.
Exactly. Let's talk about score predictions then. Let's talk about score predictions.
Me? Prediction? I don't do predictions, do I?
Well, you've been predicting stuff. Anyways, you done a prediction that if we lose the next 3 games, that Hodgson could get sacked. So you've done a prediction. You might not do score predictions, but you do predictions.
I do. You're right.
How do you see this one going? We predicted a big defeat against Liverpool. I don't think many people. I said 2-0 to be fair against Liverpool.
Right.
But a lot of people, they didn't have high expectations against Liverpool. Against City, based on what you saw against Liverpool, but it's away from home. If we were to lose, Patrick, do you think it'll be a beating, or do you think it'll be like a 1 or 2-0 loss?
I thought we were going to get destroyed by Liverpool. We weren't. I can't see us playing that well again. When you add on to that a couple of factors, we're playing away and the injuries. I just can't see us doing. And Remy Matthews isn't goal. I'm not putting him down, but I just can't see him being as good as Johnson. I mean, I just can't. When Johnson actually, had a couple of clean sheets like teams like Man United away, I can't see. I was going to go 2-0. I'm going to go 4-0. It might be worse than that. I'm going to say 4.
You know what? I think similar as well. I said 2-0 against Liverpool.
Right.
I didn't actually see it on camera, but I just had a feeling that there'll be a reaction after the Bournemouth game, especially with all the booing from the fans.
There was, to be fair.
But now that game is over and there was a positive reaction, I'm worried about this game more than the Liverpool game in terms of results, score-wise.
Yeah.
I can easily see a minimum 3 or 4-0. I think I just don't see the players carrying it on for 90 minutes in this game. They got the clauses in the Bournemouth in the Liverpool game. I hope they're proving me wrong, but I think it's going to be a long afternoon. Let's say we're going to halftime 0-0. That gives us a bigger chance, of course. As we saw against Liverpool, we need to get something out of the game. But for me, I'm going to go for 3-0, at least a 3-0 City. Okay. I don't think it'll be. In my opinion, I don't think it'll be as close as the Liverpool game was. But hopefully the players prove us wrong, because they did against Liverpool. And in this game, if they prove us wrong as well, that'll be positive.
Do you want a good stat for the 0-0 thing? I'll give you a quick stat before we end. We've gone into halftime 0-0 in 8 of our 15 games so far. Is it 15? 16 games, right? Now 16.
Yeah. If we go 0-0, then of course it won't be a high scoring. I can see it being maybe 1 or 2-0 to City at least, but I just don't see us getting anything. But realistically, I can see City scoring in the first half. I'm a bit worried about that.
I can.
That'll be good. That'll be positive in itself.
I agree.
That'll be positive in itself. As long as we don't concede in the last minute, because we've been conceding a lot of late goals as well, which has been an issue. Well, let us know your thoughts and predictions in the comment section down below. That's it from me and Patrick. We'll be back, of course, throughout the week for more Palace content. And until next time, up the Palace.